with Culture Shock ESL. And today's program, we're going to talk about the L sound. Now, this is also a very difficult sound for people generally who are learning English as a second language, but particularly for people from China and from Asian languages. That shaping and control of the tongue, the roof of the mouth, is very difficult, and it makes it hard for them to pronounce these words, okay? So what we have here is two words that have two L's in one: cool, and cold, cold. Again, when we pronounce that L, it's like saying la 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 la, but the tip of the tongue is just touching the palate at the behind, in the middle of the mouth, at the top, okay? So it's Ella, Ella, Ella. So again, cool or cold, cold, cold. In this case, we don't really say very much of that L, but it's there, so we have to make the shape. So a lot of the sounding comes out of the combination of making the shape between the O and the D, so that we get that little bit of that L sound in there, so we can make a distinction. Later on in some of the exercises, you'll see why we have to make a distinction there, because when we transfer that L to a D, or we change the word from code to code, where we leave the L out, we have to make that distinction. Again, in all that I'm talking about and the way I'm doing it very, very slowly. And a lot of people might say, well, that's all very well for you, Mr. Moore, but when I listen to English people, they're just speaking so fast. When I listen to the radio, when I listen to people on the street, it's all so fast. Well, my suggestion for you there, as I use when I'm speaking in Spanish or learning Spanish, is asking people to slow down. And when you are speaking, to speak slowly. That indicates, one, that you are serious about communicating the idea, what you're talking about, and also it registers with the person listening that they don't have to rush. In our world today, everybody's rushing around trying to do everything at once, it's multitasking. What they're really saying is that they can't do one thing at a time. But if communicating is important to you, that is, if speaking and explaining ideas to other people and having them understand your point of view, then it's important for you to take your time. And particularly when you're learning another language, okay? So again, the remedy for learning, first of all, as I mentioned before, hearing it, okay, and then speaking it. In speaking it, take your time. Slow down. A lot of my Spanish students are transferring the speed of their language in Spanish to English and getting frustrated when they can't keep up with that speed. And again, this is another reason why when we're learning, we have to give ourselves time. We have to be patient with ourselves. It will come, but particularly as adults, we have to take our time. Bring it into our lives, little by little. Listen to the radio. Try to avoid the television because you're going to be distracted by the images, but try to listen and pick up a few words, how they're spoken. Practice those words, okay? And that way you make it yours. So when you are speaking in this new language, you develop your own style. You have your own style in whatever language you have. When you speak, if you're Chinese, you speak to another Chinese person, they understand that you favor certain words or certain expressions or certain speeds or certain slowing down, as you will do when you're learning another language. So don't think of it as one thing, okay? It's many different things. And later in this course, I'll explain more about how we do actually acquire language. It isn't just this one way of reading grammar, which is unfortunately the way they teach you at school. There's lots of ways that we bring in. We do singing, we do lots of different things. But for the moment, we're talking about the L sound. And again, it's very difficult, and I would recommend that people practice just by saying la 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 and getting used to controlling that tongue. So it's la 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 la. Again, we'll do some exercises and then we'll come back to this and we'll talk some more, okay? Okay, you can see from the graphic that in making the L sound, the tip of the tongue touches the gum ridge behind the upper teeth. The airstream flows through the sides of the tongue. Don't round your lips when you're saying the L sound. This will only weaken it and make it sound like a W, like L, L. Okay? Okay, so now some words for practice. Number 1, long. Repeat. Number 2, live. Repeat. Number 3, leave. Repeat. Number 4, late. Repeat. Number 5, although. Repeat. Number 6, allow. Repeat. Number 7, ill. Repeat. Number 8, old. Repeat. Number 9, difficult. Repeat. Number 10, milk. Repeat. Number 11, myself. Repeat. Number 12, people. Repeat. Okay, now we're going to do word contrasts for practice. You'll notice that in the first column there's no L in the word, whereas in the second there is. So number 1, code, cold. Repeat. Number 2, toad, told. Repeat. Number 3, debt, dealt. Repeat. And number 4, wide, wild. Repeat. Okay, so we went through those exercises, some words and some differences, and understanding how in some of the longer words, how we have to make sure that we pronounce that L at the beginning or in the middle or the end of a word, okay? And also some of the sentences that are very important. In my courses, if you contact me, we have a more extensive series of practices and more of a discussion about how you can help, how I can help you to speak English better and in a much quicker and more smoother way. Okay, so again, just to review what we are talking about, with the L sound, we have to open the mouth, L, L, and put the tongue behind the palate and behind the teeth, back in the middle of the mouth there. So it's L, 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 L. Someone starts off like an E, L, 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 and then it's softer, L, 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 okay. As in film, film. We have more pronunciation there of the M, film, film, and we cover it with our lips there, so it's film, 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 film. And with felt, to feel something, felt, 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 fell, felt, okay? Without that T, it would be fell, to fall down, to fall down. But with this T, it's felt, felt. Okay? So again, practice these things while you're watching the video. Don't just take it and save it and say, oh yeah, that was very cool. You know, I want you to practice it. As you practice, you will get better. But if you don't practice it, then you won't get better and you'll just get frustrated and you'll give up, okay? So practice these, and we got those exercises. Turn on the video and go work your way through them. Take one step at a time, okay? I know these are very difficult sounds when you first start them off, but by just practicing them, you will get better. I can guarantee you on that. Okay, Until next time, this is Ian Moore with Culture Shock ESL.